Star Wars. Christian, talk to me. Need to test that mic.
Hey, dude.
What's up? I think we're all good to go. So today we're talking about Star Wars.
Have we begun?
Yes,
Okay.
it has begun. I will use this, of course, recording to slam in the face of my grandchildren like, I called it that Rey was actually Luke Kenobi's lightsaber's father or whatever. Because I love predicting things, but I do hate watching trailers because I believe they spoil things like all modern trailers do these days.
Like how people who are enemies will become best friends.
Exactly. That's
like we just saw.
Story. Yeah. So me and Christian just watched the final trailer for Rise of Skywalker. Hate that name, by the way. And let's first get into the meat of it. Our history of Star Wars. Me personally, I was born 2000, so obviously I couldn't have been involved in you know what. The prequels were great. I used to remember like making Landon play episode 1 for me, where I watched the full thing, watched all the boring politics in the middle half, all of it. I hit the stand. Don't worry about it.
Sorry.
I remember really liking the prequels a lot, like even sitting through all the boring stuff. But like later on, I really learned to like the slowness and kind of the 80s and stuff, like the fourth, fifth, and sixth movie, you know, which is the first three, blah, blah, blah. I remember when it first hit me that like the prequels were like not the sequels and which came first, like blew my mind. But I distinctly have great memories of like episode 3 came out, I was like 5 years old. I was like, but I want to see it, Dad. He's like, too many kid genocide, Drew. I have to talk like this because I'm Dennis McQuaid or whatever. And so
Barrett Johnson.
It's been a wild ride, man. I kept up the Clone Wars, which is on Netflix currently. It was on Cartoon Network. The most awesome and brutal TV show of all time for children. Decapitations has got everything. I've watched Star Wars Rebels, which is another TV show that came out 2014, 2018.
Ooh, that's the one I haven't seen.
Another great show. It's kind of made for kids, but there's some great stuff in there. My favorite character is Ahsoka Tano, the apprentice to Anakin Skywalker during the Clone Wars.
The Clone Wars.
Never acknowledged in any movie. Yeah,
Not
CGI
the,
animated. Yeah,
because there was the prequel to that. It was like the hand-drawn cartoon.
Yeah, there was.
Style.
Oh yeah, I remember watching that too.
Did you remember that?
There's a hand-drawn cartoon Clone Wars as
had
well.
Probably like 4 or 5 seasons, and it was on Cartoon Network for a while.
Yeah, but I remember like someone made just like ultimate cuts on YouTube where it's like just 2 hours of like over the top, like just like
violence.
Not in violence, but just like the action sequences were insane. Like
they were so
they
sick.
blow up on your face. Like
it was.
Remember that one where like Mace Windu took out like 1,000 battle droids?
Oh
but, like,
yeah.
At one point he's just like punching super battle droids like in their torsos with his like bare fists.
Yeah, I totally remember
and
that.
those like. And it's come to a point, unfortunately, where I believe all the like extended EU stuff of Star Wars is like probably better than the main stuff at this point.
Oh yeah, much better.
At least some quality stuff, which we'll get into. But like I said, my history, I grew up on the prequels. I went back to the originals. But yeah, I've really liked some of the new trilogy so far. The Han Solo movie wasn't my favorite, but only because I like calling it the Han Solo movie. Did you ever see the Han Solo movie?
I liked it a lot. It was one of my
Really?
favorite Star Wars movies.
Wow. Okay. Well, I'll viciously tear you apart in that opinion in just a moment here. But I love Star Wars. I have a lightsaber right on the wall over there. The
There it is.
lightsaber of Jedi Knight Kanan Jarrus. So if you're actually a Star Wars fan, you'd actually know what I'm talking about.
What is that guy from?
He's from Star Wars Rebels. He was a Padawan during the Jedi Purge, and he grew up into the years between Episode 3 and Episode 4,
Okay.
which apparently Star Wars loves covering and not covering anything else in Star Wars. But moving on, so that's my whole history of Star Wars. I love it so much. I've gone through a lot of phases of just loving it. The Clone Wars was watching the Clone Wars like with your best buddies as like a 13-year-old was like the coolest thing. There's no other thing
the
like
TV show or the second movie.
the TV show, like
Okay.
the Clone Wars. Like people have sports, but like Star Wars is all I have. And
Yeah.
like these Marvel movies, like to get excited
It's
about.
what brings you back.
Because everyone's like, even my teacher in college is like, hey, I hope you weren't an Auburn fan last night. And I always say,
Oh,
hey, sports, I get that.
Yeah.
But
I'm with you.
But that's kind of my whole thesis on it. So, Christian, tell me your history of Star Wars.
So one of my youngest memories as a young boy, I was probably around 6 or 7. I have an uncle. That's proper English.
His name is George Lucas.
His name is Mr. George Lucas, actually. He made us call him that. No, his name is Glenn, and he was the biggest Star Trek and Star Wars nerd, like, probably in existence. He's a, 46-year-old man now, and to relax at night, watches cartoons on Netflix. So he's a pretty cool dude. So one of my earliest memories is going to Star Wars Episode 1 in theaters with him, and that's kind of what... I'm getting a call from your sister.
Oh, no, you can take it. You just hung up on your only sister named Lindsay?
It's still
Okay, answer it. Live on the podcast.
live on the podcast.
Hold to the mic. Put on speaker.
Hey, Lindsay.
Oh.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, 1 second.
Christian has to go say hi to the babies. Run quick. Fly, you fool.
Wait, can you pause it?
I can't pause it.
Okay. Are we back?
Okay, we are back. We just said hi to the babies, and can you get a little hotter on that mic if you don't mind?
Huh? What?
So good, just like that. So as you were saying, your
As I was
history
saying,
with Star
I was
Wars.
raised and brought up to love Star Wars. So started with episode 1. I remember sitting in the theater. I was probably 7 years old, and it was the part of the movie when Qui-Gon gets stabbed through the stomach by Darth Maul. Flies over his head, stabs him. And the kid next to me, I think he was probably the same age as me, literally just starts bawling. Like, he's just freaking out. And I'm like, dude, it's just a movie. Like, I'm 7 years old, and I realized
so
this is not
mature.
something to cry about. So it was hilarious. Great memory. He also loved to read. My uncle did. So he would always give me, like, books to read. Started me off with, like, Young Jedi Knights. This is all, like, post episode 6. Young Jedi Knights, and then I got into some other stuff. There's, like, a couple cool Clone War books. There's a really good one I recommend called Shatterpoint. It's about Mace Windu and his, like, special force ability.
Wasn't he able to, like, see into someone's mind or something like that? Or
It was kind of like that, but it was like he could, like, evaluate somebody with the Force and find a mental or physical Shatterpoint.
That's cool because in the Star Wars Clone Wars episode where he went to the place with all Twi'leks, he needs to break through this glass to save a stormtrooper, and he puts his hand on multiple places in the glass, and he just focuses, and then the glass shatters as it puts his hand against it.
Yeah.
Because there's so much Star Wars stuff that, like, is in the EU, it's not in the movies at all, which is almost cooler. You know what I mean?
It's
like
cool.
if you have, like, a son, and your second son's way better. Perfect analogy.
You race
You're just
one
like, wait a second, my
and
first son sucks.
Well, this guy's okay. He's pretty average,
Yeah.
but this son is awesome.
Yeah, that's true.
So, books.
Books.
Got into, like, a lot of the really good post episode 6 stuff that originally came out before Clone Wars kind of messed all that up, and they came out with the new movies and all that
so
stuff.
was that like Shattered Empire? Was that like
So they had Swarm War. They had a whole
Swarm War?
Yeah, so it was about these, like, bug creatures from the, like, outside of the galaxy that came in, and they, like, all had a swarm mind and started taking over everything. And that's how Anakin Solo died. He got killed in that war.
Oh, that's right, because as what we're talking about now, of course, that there were books that came out after Episode 6 in, like, the 80s and 90s, I guess.
So they kept coming out, because then there was the Legacy of the Force. It was a 6 book series, and it came out, like, I think I was, like, 13, 14, 15, and they were coming out as I was reading them.
Yeah, because after Episode 6, books came out, but of course when Episode 7 was announced, 2014, 13 or
They
whatever,
screwed up all that stuff.
they said all the extended universe stuff after all the books are now scrapped, nothing. And they're like, but what about Mara Jade? Blah.
Yeah, she was awesome.
She was pretty cool.
She's very cool.
And pretty easy in the eyes in those books.
So we could go all into this eventually,
yes, we
but the Luke Skywalker from, like, that, like, line of history that is still there and still valid, even though it's not in the movies. He was so BA.
Yeah.
Like, he was, like, not this old fart that goes and hides, you know?
I mean, that was like 30 years later. Give him a break. Didn't he, like, turn bad at one point or something like that?
Yeah, he, like, turned to the dark side, and then he came back. So it was, like, I think that's, like, the Skywalker thing that they were trying to implement. It's like they eventually come back. Like, Anakin did it. Luke did it. So
it's
then
like a reboot. Always comes back. So what was may I ask you, what was your experience with episodes, like the most recent 4 movies that came out in the last 5 years? I can't believe it's been 4. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy. So I've seen...
Got any favorites?
Ooh. So I've liked episode 7 and 8, but I've really liked those, like, offshoot movies. What was the one called?
There was Rogue One.
Rogue One, absolutely loved. I think that might be one of my top Star Wars movies. Just great. Like, everything about it was great.
I think that's probably the best shot movie.
Yeah.
It's Gareth Edwards directed it,
beautiful.
and it looked like not like I'm not like it looked too real, but like you could tell that every
That's
single
5K.
not even that, but like every single spaceship was like looked exactly like a model.
Yeah.
But like it's like if the people in 1977 who made the original Star Wars can make them that good, like that's what it looked like in Rogue One.
Right. Yeah, I agree. And I loved how it fit into the storyline with A New Hope. How
Perfectly,
it, like, popped in there, and it kind of explained that whole story and
why there's one hole in the ultimate weapon that can kill it because someone put it there. It's like we need some more stuff that covers up those gaps where it's like, oh, well, how did Maz Kanata get Anakin Skywalker's original blue lightsaber or whatever? Because remember she had it, and she's like,
Oh yeah.
because in episode 7, they're like, how the hell did you get this? And
Right.
she's like, that's a lesson for another comic book. I mean, another day. Like that's,
Another book, another offshoot series.
Yeah, but what are you gonna do?
What's her
'Cause
name again?
Maz Kanata.
Yeah, I think you're right.
That's
She's like the little frog girl with the funny eyes.
yeah, it's either Maz Kanata or it's like the name of a dish at Panda Express. I can't remember. But yeah, so your experience with the 4 most recent movies, you said that Rogue One might be your favorite.
Rogue One was great. I also liked Solo a lot. I just thought it was fun. I don't know how I feel about how it fits into everything, but I
Mhm.
do think it was like a well-made movie, and I liked kind of the explanation of the Solo story. You know, his background.
Yeah,
What do you think? Tell me how you think.
The last 4 movies I really, really liked. Rogue One, like after Rogue One happened, I'm like, we've had 2 great Star Wars movies. What could possibly go wrong?
Right.
And
so okay.
the Han Solo movie was pretty alright. I
Mhm.
liked it mostly. I feel like they just tried to do too much. Like, let's get an actor who looks and sounds exactly like Harrison Ford. He's
Right.
replaceable, right?
Right.
God bless Harrison Ford. You know, all the feather earrings and plane crashes he's in. Have you ever heard about that? He loves to be. He loves flying planes, but he's terrible at it. Have you ever heard about this?
No,
He's really
I've
bad.
not.
Uh,
Has he actually crashed some planes?
He's crashed like 3 planes. We have to look
Holy
up after this. Someone look
moly.
us up how many times Harrison Ford's gotten in a plane crash.
That's insane. Wait, he has feather earrings.
He does he likes that. But like, there's no way you can like let's hire someone who looks exactly like Bruce Campbell. You know, like you can't just replace someone like that.
No,
like
it's true.
in Han Solo movie. But overall, I'm just glad we're getting more stuff, to be honest, because that creates more offshoots like Rebels, or creates more offshoots like Star Wars Resistance, which is the current Star Wars cartoon, which is like basically just for children.
Resistance or Rebels?
So it goes all CGI animated. We got Star Wars Clone Wars 2007, 2014.
Yeah.
Star Wars Rebels 2014, 2018,
Oh, okay.
and then Star Wars Resistance 2019 to current.
And is that
and
continuing story?
2018 to 2018 is the time I have no life because I'm too invested in Star Wars. But that's the history of it, because every time we get a movie, it's just going to create more revenue for Star Wars, and I want more. We're getting The Mandalorian pretty soon. You ever heard about that?
Yes, on
Disney
what is that?
Plus.
Disney
Disney
Plus. I'm
Piracy.
actually gonna pay for it just so I can watch that
After
show.
they all come out, of course. You're not gonna go week by week. Like, you know, that's how you Game of Thrones it. You rent HBO for a month, you watch all of it, and you cut your ties off
Well,
completely.
I'm hoping they're gonna do it like Netflix, where they just release it all on there.
Are they doing?
There's only one way to find
Yeah,
out.
there's only one way to find out.
$7 a month.
Yeah,
Or
sign me up.
$64 a year.
We'll get into all that, but that's I'm excited for. Like more different movies equals more experimentation.
Yeah.
It's like kind of like the cycle of like almost like Industrial Revolution. Like more need for commerce creates more innovations. Like astronaut rules. Like, you know, more needs to get farther away. The
Yep.
more kind of how we get Velcro and
Exactly.
astronaut ice cream.
So that just reminded me, talking about how like epic this Star Wars universe is becoming and how it's gotten there. I think it's funny because there's so many, like, if you look into the 80s like era when Star Wars first came out, what, like 79 wasn't the first one?
The first one came out in 1977.
77, dang it.
There.
So when that first came out, there was already like a million like Star books, like Star Journey, Star whatever, you know? And I think it's funny that Star Wars became the one, you know? Because right after the first one came out, there was like probably 14 to 15, maybe more. It was like 30 movies that came out that were like either
Like copycats.
completely copycats,
Can you get a little harder?
complete copycats,
Beautiful. I love it.
or
You can adjust it.
they
You pull
were
up close,
like-
everyone. You can scoop your chair. You're all good.
perfect. There we go.
Nice.
Complete copycats, or they like were just like trying to steal the thunder of Star Wars.
It's interesting because, like, I think I've listened to a podcast called what's it called? It's a really good podcast that covers like them making Star Wars. I'll recommend it to you if I can find it.
There's a documentary I think on Netflix too about it.
And it's awesome because like his idea was like, yeah, it's like the idea of a hero's journey, but like kind of like Flash Gordon, because Flash Gordon was like the first ever like
Oh,
sci-fi,
right.
like
That was, like, 50s,
super
60s.
cheesy.
Mm-hmm.
But he's like, what if I make it like an opera with the hero's journey kind of thing, like Bruce Campbell, not Bruce Campbell, whatever the guy's name is who created the hero's journey, you know, where like, you know, there's crisis, there's killing your father, blah blah blah, the usual.
Right, classic. I don't know what's it called, Hero's Journey.
It's called the hero's journey, kind of like the Hobbit, where they're like Lord of the Rings, where it's like, oh, we've had some troubles, now we're gonna spend 17 chapters at Tom Bombadil's house.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Dude, those great books.
Great books.
Oh, I love them.
So we've kind of talked about our backstories, our favorites. My favorite Star Wars movie
Of all time.
of all time currently,
Not including any of the offshoot.
Star Wars Clone Wars movie came out in theaters.
Okay,
there's-
not including that.
There's a lot of history in that, by the way. There's just a lot of history in all this kind of stuff. Like people,
Yeah.
George Lucas, like making more movies and like making these offshoots. Like he was very involved in Clone Wars. That's why I love it. People care.
Yeah.
It's not just like let's make another Triple X movie,
Right. Yeah.
Return of Xander Cage. Like things are thought out.
Or like another Fast and Furious movie starring
yeah.
2 new people and not including the original actors at
Yeah.
all.
That's we're talking about Fast and Furious presents Hobbs and Shaw coming to theaters June 27th. But anyway, as I was saying, my favorite Star Wars movie. It's hard to choose, honestly. I think Force Awakens. I think it was just.
That's 7, right?
I think it just nailed it. I think
Yeah.
probably episode 7. If I gotta say, choose right now. There's probably some other stuff if I really think about it, but Rogue One was so good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
Here-
gonna go 7.
Here's the thing about episode 7. It was so well done. Like the story, everything they geared it towards new audience, old audience, like with the kind of like
It's for the Modern Family.
with the kind of like echoes
Coming to ABC season 7 on June 17th.
with the echoes from
levels,
the
yeah.
old movies because it was
Yeah.
basically like a New Hope kind of vibe. And it was just so well done. It was geared towards everyone. Everyone loved it.
It
Freaked
was a
out.
breath of fresh air.
And it was James Cameron or J.J. Abrams?
J.J. Abrams.
J.J. Abrams.
I
I,
went-
always mix them up for some reason because they both did epic like star movies.
Yeah,
you know?
that's true.
Star Trek and
Avatar, Last Airbender. Just kidding. The Blue Monkey one.
That was a terrible movie.
I learned that the first Avatar?
The Avatar Real Person. Did you ever see that?
Oh, that one's
It was
terrible. Yeah, Shyamalan.
ridiculous.
Shyamalan.
Yeah.
That was
M.
terrible.
Night. Shyamalan.
But what? That's the knowing quote from Mark Wahlberg, who's like, "What?"
That's a great movie too.
I haven't watched it. All I watched
It's
was
actually kind of scary.
wow. It doesn't have
Like it borders on like horror movie.
doesn't have like Zoe Deschanel for bangs and stuff. She's like, "Hey, I'm Zoe Deschanel. I talk like this." But yes. So episode 7 was great. So let's talk. We just said, we just watched the final Rise of Skywalker. Hate that name. Trailer. So let's talk about the new trilogy. What we like, what we don't like. Let's go piece by piece here. So episode 7, we were just mentioning.
Phenomenal.
It felt like a bloody breath of fresh air.
A bloody breath of fresh air.
It
What, we
was-
vampires is October
Yeah, it's actually
31st?
Peter. But yeah, it was really episode 7 was so good. I remember like just all this talk about all this hype about it. Like when we first saw that first teaser where it's like there's been an awakening.
Oh yeah.
Have you felt it? You shall not. Blah. But then it had Kylo Ren opening his crossguard lightsaber.
Yeah.
Like that was. You're thinking of the THX Toy Story where like the little guy going ding ding
Oh, yeah.
ding ding.
Oh
No, it wasn't the cow one where it like.
yeah, and then it gets really deep.
It got
what
so
movie
loud.
was that from? I can never
Toy
remember.
Story.
Was it one of the Toy
We're
Stories?
getting off topic as
Okay.
usual. But so
That's okay.
episode
That's
7,
fine.
it was just so. It was funny. It had actual character development. It
Mhm.
moved at a fast pace. There was no time for politics. Thank God. It was balanced. It was fast. It introduced new characters.
And it
well.
was well awaited. What the year span between between episode 3 and that one was like 10 years?
Because episode 6, Alexa, when did Star Wars episode 3 come out?
The film Star Wars, Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith was released about 14 years ago on May 19th, 2005.
2005. I knew it. I was
Okay.
right. 2005, 2015.
And
10
then
years.
7 came out 2016 or 17?
2015.
15. Dang it.
So it's a good after this Rise of Skywalker in 2029 we get a new movie. I'll be fine with that. You know what I mean? Like
Oh yeah.
because this is the last of the trilogy, unfortunately. So I don't know if there's gonna be an offshoot movie after this.
Is there any plans that you've
We have-
seen or heard rumors of?
Well, I keep my ear to the ground, but we have definitely a Mandalorian TV show coming up, which I'm
Mhm.
excited for. With Star Wars Resistance, other just casual TV shows,
Right.
and then we have an Obi-Wan Kenobi. An
Ooh.
Obi-Wan Kenobi TV show / movie coming up, definitely,
I have not heard about this, but I'm looking forward to that greatly.
because I think
He's
it's
my childhood favorite character.
I know he's pretty great. I think. Hello there. I
yes.
think it's.
Ewan McGregor.
I think it's gonna be a movie. I think because I don't think they're making a TV show.
Here's one thing about Ewan McGregor. I loved Obi-Wan as a kid from episode 1. When, like I told you, I was like 7 years old. Loved it. Played in the PS1 episode 1 game where you like travel around. You're Obi-Wan like the whole time. And then I heard rumors about Brokeback Mountain where he's like a gay dude in that movie or something. And
what?
then it ruined Obi-Wan Kenobi for me for the rest of my life. I was scarred.
What year was this?
I think that came out I want to say like mid 2000s.
Okay,
Anyways.
gotcha. Well, stop opening my Zippo, by the way. He's opening a lighter.
Who?
It's mine.
Oh,
This is audio medium.
we're gonna do an
You're gonna
an
listen to.
ASMR.
You're gonna.
Wait.
Hey there. You ready to hear a lighter? Actually, we're gonna listen to Christian Walpole's beard hair get singed off by fire from my Zippo in real time. No, it's a bad idea. Plus, it lit.
Oh, it actually lit.
What do you know? But back to Star Wars Episode 7. I really liked it.
But reining us back in.
It actual like Star Wars like combat, which looked pretty good and solid. There wasn't a bunch of flipping. It was CGI, but like
Here's
so many
question.
good one shots. Like let me finish. God.
Okay. Here's a question.
It had people. It had so many. It had actual funny moments. The one moment I was sold on the movie
Mm-hmm.
was when Finn like gets back to the ship along with Poe as a prisoner, and he's like, don't worry, Poe Dameron, I'm breaking out of here." He's like, "Wait, why are you helping me?" Because it's the right thing to do.
Oh,
He's
yeah,
like,
that's good.
"You need a pilot. I need a
Yeah.
pilot." Because
Yeah.
like, of course, because like this isn't like some soap opera. Like people want to survive and live.
Right,
So
yeah.
it
It
was
made
funny.
sense.
It was good. And
Yeah.
like that whole interaction they had when they were first on like that TIE fighter, like defending, like trying to escape from the First Order. Like first of all, create the bromance, of course. It was real.
Yes.
But also just like the best friend, they're like, "Oh, my name's Finn. Oh, I'm Poe. Nice to meet you, man." Like that was more emotion than I ever saw in last prequels movies. "Oh, Misa Annie, hi!" Like
oh, my favorite.
that was such a good like interaction where
Yeah.
it's just like these people I can imagine are friends. Not
And
like
they were good actors.
and not like when like episode 2 where like Anakin's like, "No, you fell into that Gundar pit and I had to just break you out. Remember that? We're best friends, right?" He's like,
Oh,
"Yeah,
yeah.
we are best friends."
And they're like
man."
acting like robots the whole time. Yeah,
Yeah.
we're best friends.
Yeah.
Yes.
Sorry, my lady.
Oh gosh.
Uh,
Then
but-
when they're on Naboo and he's
Yeah,
like rubbing her hand. The thing I hate about sand, it gets everywhere.
I'm haunted by the kiss you've never sort of given me. Uh,
Gosh, that should be
what-
erased from Star Wars history.
What are your
This is
opinions
so
on episode
bad.
7?
I agree with you. I
You
like
better.
the new. Yeah, I have to. I liked the new direction they went with a lot of things. One thing I was going to ask you is your opinion. I'm going to tell you mine first, but your opinion on the more old school kind of like knight sword fighting is like heavier, slower weapon fighting. I loved the crazy stuff that they had in like episode 1, 2, and 3 with the super fast spinning and jumping and twirling. of the lightsaber.
this Jedi scum myself. Like, that's the sound of his lightsaber
Yeah.
swing, by the way.
It's like
But
grinding.
it was like a
around.
really good sound effect.
I loved Grievous, and he had an awesome backstory I found in like a comic
He
book
did.
series one time.
In one version, he got infused with the blood of Sypha Dyas, who, in case you didn't know, he actually ordered
Count Dooku?
He actually you're so confident. He actually ordered the production of the clones in his Clone Wars.
Right.
But-
Wait, but who was Sypha Dyas again?
So Sypha Dyas, back to our
There was
history here.
there was like this. I thought of it being Qui-Gon.
So Sypha Dyas was the Jedi Master of the Qatari clan. Just kidding. I don't know if that's true. And he worked with Count Dooku for a bit, and he was the one who ordered the clones to be built / made /
Right.
breeded or whatever. And then Count Dooku betrayed him or something like that. And then they put his blood into General Grievous, which makes him immune to
Interesting.
Force attacks.
Interesting.
That was like old EU stuff. I don't even know, to be honest.
I don't know.
But
either.
moving on, you said the combat. I love.
Yeah, I
So-
really liked the new direction they took. I loved the old stuff, but it was like about time for some change.
Yeah.
and they took it to because if you follow the whole episodes, it's like 1, 2, and 3, crazy flips, twists, super fast spinning, Darth Maul versus Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon, and then I love the music. John Williams. Let's just take a moment for John Williams.
He's still alive.
I know. We'll
Okay.
just respect him.
Okay, yeah, okay. I
He's
respect. I
great.
respect him. Yeah.
And then
But in the
it
original
slowed
trilogy,
down.
it got slow.
yeah,
Like the first
so if
episode
you're
4.
following the timeline, it has to go with that. And so I think they made a good choice in keeping that.
In episode 4, the only lightsaber fight we got in episode 4 was like two old guys slowly poking each other with sticks.
Oh, and do you remember in episode 4 when I think it's Luke or Obi-Wan slices that guy's arm off and there's blood shooting
yeah.
out of it? That was hilarious.
Yeah, it's
That was a discrepancy that I noticed as a kid.
because a lightsaber cauterizes
Cauterizes or won't.
Cauterizes a wound.
Cauterizes.
That's such like a call and answer during like Comic-Con like in episode 4 you I'm sorry I've never talked before.
I play video games. my mother told me.
What is the guy from Looney Tunes? The pig? Okay, no, time. Okay. Look at the bunny. So
that voice that I just did actually came from a video game I played when I was a youngster called Sly Cooper.
that was not very sensitive. Oh, the Sly Cooper game.
It's
Yeah.
the turtle.
So
his
yes,
voice.
so
Hi, I'm Bentley. Here we go, Sly.
That takes me back. Oh boy.
Great
Okay.
games.
So as I said, episode 5, I've heard the fighting style described as like chopping wood.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Where
very
it's kind
choppy.
of real slow, considerate. Like even like when Kylo Ren fought like a noob, like Finn,
Mhm.
like it was still kind of like he was hurt, I guess. But
Yeah.
it was very kind of like overhead. Now I'm
Yeah.
going side, like very deliberate, slow.
Mhm.
It always looks cool, but like I do
Yeah.
appreciate the fact that like Rey wasn't gonna do like 17 backflips and
Right.
get her legs cut off.
You
You know,
kind of want them to, just because you want that epic. Whenever she gets the lightsaber and she's like actually channeling the Force, and you're like, yeah, I'll do a freaking flip and slice his head off. At least that's what I'm thinking.
you shouldn't do flips when you're fighting someone with a sword.
Good point.
That's a general lesson. But like in episode 9, for example, there's that cool shot of them, spoilers,
Yeah.
fighting on like that the big ocean bridge or whatever.
Yeah.
And like I'm expecting like good choreography because of course now Rey has learned stuff.
Right. Both of them are more well versed with the saber.
Let's talk about the lightsaber combat right now. Why not? So in episode 8, I thought that
I was
first
gonna
fight.
get right to
I
this
thought that
too.
first fight was awesome. No, the fight in the main ballroom. Or
Whenever
whatever,
they've
the,
just killed
the red room.
what's his name?
Darth
Big-headed
Maul
weirdo.
2. Snoke.
Snoke. Yeah.
Snoopy.
Snoke.
Like it was a pretty cool fight, but like there's some scenes where like for example, like there's one point where like Rey has to drop her lightsaber and grab it again to kill someone, but like at one point he was holding 2 blades and like it literally disappeared behind her head when she moved it. So like nothing I would have noticed when I was
Right.
watching it on screen. Like I
Right.
thought the fight was pretty okay, but it wasn't like doesn't seem like there's a lot of finesse to some of these
Right.
newer movies.
It's
coming
very
out.
choppy and
very choppy, like kind of like
let's
like Kylo's like is more like just brute force, but like with a lightsaber, like you can be brute force with a sword and get cut a few times and be fine. But the whole thing of a lightsaber is like
it will literally
slice your face
hand
off. Yeah. And there hasn't been enough decapitations in these
Right.
movies, if you ask me.
Mhm.
Equal representation and body defragmentation.
Yes, exactly.
But for example, like when Rey, and let's talk about the scars right now. Like when Rey, like sliced Kylo Ren's face off, it's like, oh my gosh, I've been slightly wounded in my pretty man face. Like his face would be gone.
It would be like melted, because your skin like melts, right?
Under heat, like it
like
should.
extreme heat, because that's what that is.
What do you think about the wounds?
I think that they're definitely, it might be like a family friendly thing that they're doing,
It's also
family friendly.
It's also great because, like, in the Clone Wars TV show, like, you can show someone getting, like, their heads
Right.
sliced off, but you can show someone getting stabbed because there's
Yeah.
no blood. It's great.
Yeah, yeah.
Perfect.
It's true. But I did notice in that one fight scene there was
Which one?
the in the red room with all the red dudes running around with their crazy things.
Guard?
Exactly. That they're, if you really pay attention to how they're fighting, it's like they're all taking turns.
Yeah,
where
yeah,
it-
that's what I'm talking about. Like, where
Yeah.
it's like, it almost seems like, for example, when Kylo Ren, like, has his lightsaber, they're back to back, there's, like, 4 coming on his side and 3 coming on
Right.
Rey's side. Like,
Right.
like, when he pushes them off, like, even the one the very far back was like, whoa!
Exactly.
And, like, insert, like, Benny Hill. But
I think you might have shown me that on like a
probably.
video or
I'm
something.
like, Christian, can you believe the gall of Gareth Edwards for?
Yes.
Ryan Johnson for making this choreography. What is this? But there's been some creative stuff which I
Yeah,
appreciate. Like the
I really-
crossguard lightsaber. Mwah. There's been- in the extended universe, there's like the dark saber from the Clone Wars, which
Mhm.
was awesome, which is like a black lightsaber.
Oh yeah.
There's been the Inquisitor's lightsaber, and
Mhm.
came from Star Wars Rebels, where it's like basically imagine
The circle.
it's like a Tron.
Yeah.
It's like a Tron disc, but there's
Mhm.
there's a cylinder in the middle of that disc, and on the outside, the in the disc it spins.
Right.
So like, if you're just lazy like I would be, you
Yeah.
could just have a lightsaber and it spins lightsaber for you. It's double bladed,
Right.
so it spins like a. And at one point in Star Wars Rebels, you can ride them like a helicopter. It's a long story there.
That's funny.
But one thing about lightsabers, we're talking about combat, we're talking about lightsabers now. I hate so much is the fact that Rey didn't create her own lightsaber. She just did
using Luke's,
she
right?
did, she did a lazy thing like I would do,
Right.
and just hot glued the original Anakin's lightsaber back together again.
Yeah. Yeah. It's
Which
true.
is just it's
yeah.
like a part of being a Jedi. I know.
Which I love, like the epic, like you have to go and find your crystal and do all that stuff. You know, that like was the training part of the
Yeah,
whole
because
training
of
and
course,
stuff.
as we all know, a youngling is meant to find his kyber crystal,
Yeah,
and then it links him to the Force and is kind of a personification and
Right,
like able
of
to
them.
channel his energy.
right. And they don't pick their color. It's like just kind of embodies them.
Unless
It's
you're
like, what-
Samuel L. Jackson, it's like, mother effer, I want purple. I talk like this to
That's-
Michael Jackson.
It's so true. I heard that too. That was hilarious.
I'm tired
I
of these
have to be-
nerf-herding Sith Lords and this nerf-herding Senate.
I want a purple lightsaber, or I'm leaving.
I think he even said like he made George Lucas say like have like the words imprinted on the back of his lightsaber like bad mother effer. or
Yeah,
something
no,
like
I
that.
think you're right. I think they're
So
totally
good.
right. That's
Uh,
so funny.
So we talk about Star Wars
What a guy.
lightsabers. There's so many good ones out there, but Rey, you can't be a more original girl. Come
Yeah.
on. I was hoping she'd have a sweet like double-bladed lightsaber, like
Right.
she like her bad version has in the
Mhm.
trailer and stuff. But come on, you can't be more creative, people. Wouldn't it be awesome if she? I even have some designs I might be able to show you to make like her own like blue crossguard lightsaber.
That'd
It's
be
like,
sick.
what if like in episode 8 when they were force pushing the lightsaber, it cracked the crystal. And it made it. Someone just yelled in my house. And it made her have to use a crossguard because, of course, the
That would
reason
be
why
sick.
Kylo Ren has a crossguard lightsaber is that those vents are
Mhm.
to expel extra heat because
Right.
his red crystal is broken.
Right. That would be sick.
But like that didn't happen. We're just gonna have a boring. No, yeah, what are you gonna do?
I love that lightsaber, but I feel like every time I see it, I'm like, if I was holding that thing, I would end up holding it towards myself and hitting myself with one of those little.
Oh,
excess
the
vents.
crossguard,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, I
I'm
feel
like,
totally the
that's
same way.
crazy.
Because even when you hold it like the right way, where it's,
It's like so close to his hand.
oh, yeah, where
It's like gonna melt his hair. He doesn't have any hair on his wrist. Like I would be like just bald wrist right now.
well, at one point it's kind of cool because remember he burned like Finn's shoulder because he held him against
it
it.
like pushed
so
it
it's actually-
kind of into him.
Because since it's also a lightsaber, technically too, it's pretty useful when you think about it. But like, it's kind of double-edged sword, literally,
Yeah.
because it's like if only he could like choose which one goes off and on. you know?
Right. exactly.
Um,
have a little control of it.
But so talk about lightsaber, talk about the combat. Let's talk about the main stories and stuff of the recent trilogy.
Mhm.
I remember being psyched so much with like theorizing, like, oh, is Finn the new Jedi and stuff?
Right.
Because he had a lightsaber. Oh, it's just a Mary Sue.
Right.
No, I mean, it was cool. It's just me being introduced to new characters. You know, it's not like, oh, it's 78-year-old Mark Hamill. He's
Right.
back in episode 7.
Again.
But like it was. I love the story of him. There's still the whole like what we don't know, which is like Rey's full lineage,
Right.
history, all that stuff.
Lots of hints of her being a Skywalker. Lots of thoughts about that.
Yeah, kind of. I loved how Han Solo was the star of episode 7, and then
Yeah.
Luke was the star of episode 8.
Mm-hmm.
I think the plan originally was to have Leia be the star of episode 9, but she passed away, unfortunately.
Yeah. In real
So
life.
I guess she's just gonna be weirdly CGI'd,
Use extra
Grand Admiral Tarkin style
pictures.
to be like, "Hey Rey, I love you, boo." whatever happens. I won't be like that, but unfortunately she's passed, so it's nothing you can do.
She passed after episode 8?
2016, right
Okay.
before. I think like right before or after,
Right before
Rogue
it
One.
released.
No, Rogue One.
Oh. Yeah. You're right.
Just like a random, just like heart complication or something like that.
Craziness.
Shame.
Crazy. Yeah.
What do you think of like the story of episode 7?
Story of 7, awesome. I loved it. I really liked it. Like I said, I really liked how it kind of echoed some of the past stuff. There was some great humor in it. There was some great like character starting and building.
It was fast. It
it
wasn't
was
like,
very fast paced.
now the Trade Federation has
Right. There was-
some bad trade tariffs over the Naboo system.
Yes.
It's,
The original not the original, the 1, 2 and 3. 1, 2 and 3. They did have some terrible like long boring scenes. I just remember as a kid watching those and like literally wanting to fast forward
and
forward
be like, Dad, what's happening?
on my VHS.
Which one of these is a Republican?
What does this even mean? And not understanding it really until I was like 16 or 17.
But I'm glad I'm glad that Starkiller Base killed all those government plans. Oh boy.
Oh yeah, I
It-
forgot about that.
Hopefully Jar Jar was on there too. But I just wonder, like, who's your favorite Star Wars character, by the way?
It always was growing up. Obi-Wan.
Mm-hmm.
Just thought he was an awesome dude.
He was pretty cool.
Man, that's tough. Let me think about that for a second. Who's your favorite?
Be on the mic. Gah. So hold it like this.
You
Hold
can
like
still
beneath
hear
you
me,
like
though.
this.
You can
I
still
know,
hear
but
me.
I'm always pretty consistent. I'm sorry, guys.
I got you.
I'm an ally normally, but I have to apologize. Steve Harvey style. But yeah, there's some great characters out there. So episode 7, it was great. That mystery about like who Rey was. I loved how Ben Solo, or Ben Swolo as we call him after episode 8, because he has such a big torso. That guy's so weird. What happened to his body? But I loved how Ben Solo is definitely the son, as we know, of
Mhm.
Han Solo and Leia, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
It's weird how Leia never became a Force user. That's kind of sad because she's like the son of the most
Right, and
son of the chosen one.
and in the other universe before that, she had some hints of it. There was
Yeah.
never a full on like I'm a Force user, but there
And-
was definitely like things she did.
In the EU, also after Episode 6, the books, like she became a Force wielder, right?
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Force. I don't think she became a full on Jedi, but she was definitely a Force wielder.
She didn't have a lightsaber or something like that.
Not that I'm aware
Mm.
of. She might have. I didn't
Tough
read
crowd.
really into a lot of their stuff. It was mostly after that I read.
But I love how people. I always just love how people argue over these movie stuff too, because I do the same thing.
Mhm.
I'm probably gonna do that in like T-minus, a
3
month and a
seconds.
half. But like they called like, oh, Rey's a Mary Sue because she's a woman and she can do anything. Because it is kind of a funny, lazy plot device to be like, just use the Force, and
Right.
even like Han Solo says, that's not how the Force works. Because like imagine if you're watching like Fast and Furious 10, and like at one point the like one person in that movie says to Vin Diesel, "Use your car, Vin. Use your car." Like
Just use your car. Feel it.
feel
Use it.
it around you. Gasoline it penetrates us.
Let the car lead you.
Yeah, exactly. But I love how she was almost like self-taught. I loved how she
Yeah.
flew the Millennium Falcon. I love Finn just wanting to get away from all this crap because there's been war like constantly for
Yeah.
all these years. Like
True.
what even? The galaxy's a big place.
Huge.
But episode 7 was great. I thought it was perfect. Set up everything perfectly. Woohoo! I'm so excited. The one thing, anything else to say about episode 7?
Continue.
Oh, thank you. I
I'll
appreciate
let
it.
you finish your thought.
It was
then I'll
very,
have some
very
thoughts.
funny as well. Episode 8, I think the biggest mistake right out of the gate was the fact that episode 7 and episode 8 literally has about 0.7 seconds apart from each other. Time
Literally goes right
chronologically.
into it.
Because,
But-
in episode 4 and episode 5, for example, there was at least maybe a year. Like, at least time has passed where there's some
There's
exposition.
always lag in every other Star Wars movie.
And some of that's because, like, Hayden Christensen grows up and all that kind of
Right.
stuff and his puberty. I mean, they didn't have the
Classic.
kid actor or whatever.
Yeah.
But the kind of thing of, like, no time passed, so I feel like there's no character development. And maybe
Right.
because Rey's character development was so, like, linked to Luke
Mhm.
that, like, that's why we didn't have that time jump. But, like, because, of course, we wanted to see, like, that scene of, like, when she... Because, of course, the cliffhanger of episode 7 was, like, handing him
Right.
the lightsaber
Right.
and him not being paid as an extra.
That
'cause he
was-
doesn't have any speaking lines. And so that's like one of the reasons at least why they needed to have like instantaneous
Yeah.
transition between the two movies. But I did not like that at all because like Finn was still like in a coma for being the back
Yep.
sliced off his spine.
Mhm.
Which he walked that off pretty well because when
Yeah.
lightsaber tears through like all of your ribs and like your spinal column,
Right,
he
like,
walked it
that's,
off.
like,
But
It melted and destroyed it, so there's not really going to be much of a recovery.
So hopefully there won't be that much complaining about me about episode 8 because I've recorded a podcast with my friends of mine. It was a really fun podcast where we're like, "It's great, guys," and like everyone else is like,
Yeah.
But that's one of my biggest pet peeves from the get go of episode 8. And there's of course there's like 17,000 videos on YouTube where it's like, and this is how they could have done Star Wars episode 8 better. But what do you
course.
think about kind of the main things of episode 8?
I think that was what I was gonna say was my kind of faux pas with episode 7, and kind of some of the things that you've seen in Star Wars, and if you've read and like played games and stuff, there's always like a massive amount of training that goes into being a Jedi. And like Anakin, okay, he was like fast paced. He like came in as like a 10-year-old, so
He
it
was
like,
a chosen
oh,
one, too.
right? But it like he came in late, and he still, because he was the chosen one, like could be super fast. But usually they're raised from like a baby, and it has like a lifetime amount of
like
training.
most normal
Right.
Jedis are.
Right.
Like they're taken from their
Right.
home. It's kind of messed up.
Yeah.
And then they're raised in the Jedi Temple and they
like a
train their
monk,
whole lives. Yeah.
Kinda, yeah. And then like when you get to be like an adult, you can be like a master. Even some adults don't. They're just Jedi Knights. But I think it's funny how they like sped that up so quickly with her and Anakin. And I think a lag, like you're talking about, between episode 7 and 8 would have given
Would have
them
explained
time.
that.
Yeah.
Like if you have like, here's how you could solve the Last Jedi, ladies and gentlemen. Have it so
in
like
one move.
have it so she hands him the lightsaber and then he takes it and throws it over his shoulder and like a porg eats it or whatever happened. The porg is kind of like little owl things.
He drinks some of that weird green stuff
Yeah,
that he drank.
and then a time jump.
Yeah.
Where it's like 12 years late.
yeah,
Not
exactly.
12
You
years.
come in back in and you're like 2 years later at least.
At least a year.
Yeah.
Where it's been like, where Rey could be like, but I've been trained by myself all these years, but
Right.
now you're finally talking to me. Yay,
Right.
I've given exposition. That
Right.
kind of thing. But but like the fact that it's so crazy to me is like that Poe Dameron and
Dameron.
and Poe and Ray met like the last like 5 minutes of episode 8. You know what I mean?
Oh, really?
The first
Yeah.
time they ever saw each other face to face.
Wow, and you've been following both of them so long. You're right. I didn't even
You know,
realize
like
that.
and Han Solo knew everyone for like
Right.
the first movie and then moving on. You know,
Mhm,
just.
mhm.
And it's kind of a few pet peeves, like time-wise and stuff. I loved when he like milked that giant like otter thing. That was really funny.
It's hilarious.
There was kind of a whole thing with those trailers for episode 8 where it's like, this isn't going to go how you think it is.
Mhm.
Subversion of expectations. So we kind of go into
What
that.
did you think in 8 about that weird scene where she goes like into the dark well thing and sees herself in the mirror?
Oh,
There's,
she
like,
goes into the upside down? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
uh,
Leading into Stranger Things season 3.
Exactly. Season 4 teased, and then
There
she
you
finds Hopper. That was crazy. No, spoilers for Stranger Things.
We don't really know, but
Everyone watches Stranger Things. If I'm going to spoil someone, who cares?
Right.
Anyway.
and
when-
everyone knows Hopper's not actually dead. You didn't see his body. So
I don't know, man.
he's coming back. He's in Russia.
Alrighty, if you say so. But
Go on,
when
go
she
on.
saw like the 1,000 versions of herself in the mirror on Luke's planet and stuff, on his island or whatever, she went to the dark area, like when he did,
Mhm.
blah blah blah,
Whatever that was.
remediating that, whatever. I think it may be hinting that she's a clone,
Dun,
or-
dun, dun.
or that like it was just a manifestation that like you are
Dark side.
asexual. I don't know, or like the fact asexual is, and of course she reproduces from her own face or
Right,
whatever,
right.
however that works.
Exactly.
But
Very
I have
biological,
no idea what that meant. I feel like that's the kind of thing where it's like, and then when Christian looked into the mirror cracked. That represents his past
Right.
self dying away. Like
Right.
that's kind of like, how are you gonna read into that?
Yeah.
You know what I
The
mean?
only thing one thought I had was like, okay, Anakin went to the dark side, came back. Luke, in another universe, whatever, went to the dark side, came back. Maybe that was her kind of facing this dark side, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, because it was like black and dark.
Well,
and-
the one thing she asked in that cave, I just kind of interesting thought. She wanted to know who her parents
Right,
were.
right.
So when she saw those two people like walking close to her, and they conjoined into one,
Mhm.
and it was just herself.
Force.
I thought that was almost like, because at the end of episode 8, Kylo Ren says, "Oh, it doesn't even matter because they're just drunk idiots. Who cares?"
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think like she wants to know like, oh, who are my parents? That's all that matters. And she saw herself in that cave. It means like the Force is trying to tell her, listen, only you matter right now. It doesn't
Right,
matter where you
right.
come from. It matters what you do.
You're doing. Yeah. Yeah, that's probably what it actually means. You're right.
And of course, like this could be completely wrong. Where like when Kylo Ren's like, "Psych, I'm actually your sister," whoa, or whatever. I don't know. Like when he's
Right.
whatever he's gonna do. But because let's talk about the whole Rey. Because we know who Ben Swallow is. He's the son of Leia and Han or whatever. But if they reveal something in this episode in episode 9 where she's like, and you're actually Ben Kenobi's granddaughter, it's
Mhm.
like, what? I don't even know who that guy is. Doesn't even matter.
I've never met him. He's died long ago.
Yeah,
He's
who
a
cares?
ghost.
Yeah, and then he appears like as Hugh McGregor, like, oh,
He's got
well,
his hand.
the old
Hey.
guy, the original actor's dead, so I'm here. I mean,
Yeah.
hello there.
Did you ever see that in the end of episode 6? They redid it. Like, so
Oh,
it was
to
originally this
include-
the old guy who played
And so in
Darth
the
Vader.
Ewok party scene,
Right.
they in the special edition
the
where they
ghost
made
that popped up.
they made Hayden.
It was
Christensen.
Hayden Christensen,
Yeah.
which was dumb.
Weird. Yeah, they should have had
They
the
should-
charred, weird, bald body
Right.
who had no limbs and just was like floating
Right.
astrally.
Continue.
But I think
Some big reveal.
But there can't be, like, because of course love or I hate him, George Lucas, he made the 3 prequels and he had an idea for all 3 of them.
Right.
And he had a consistent story.
Right.
So it's kind of weird for me to be like, hey, Christian, you're gonna have a kid. Well, I'm gonna have your second kid. You can have the third kid.
Right.
This is what happened in Star Wars. Because
Right.
J.J. Abrams directed the first one,
Mhm.
Ryan Johnson filmed the second one, and J.J. Abrams was back to film the third
Right.
one.
They had to have worked together. There's like no way that there was like this.
But
weird...
Ryan Johnson's closed the door on so much stuff. It's like, hey, JJ, you want to film the next movie? Well, I'm gonna make it so Ray actually only has 6 legs.
Right.
Work that in, JJ. You know what I mean?
Maybe they're in like this competition. They like started, hey, so we're both gonna take over the Star Wars. Let's see if we can shut each other down
Well,
and
like-
keep it going.
Well, yeah, it's almost like a challenge where
Yeah.
it's like, all right, I want you to set.
Connect the dots.
I want
I'm
you.
gonna put the dots 500,000
Yeah.
miles apart.
It's like, yeah, make this work. It's like House Hunters. If like there's one team fixing the house, the other house was like throwing eggs at it or whatever. You know what I mean?
Shooting nail guns at
But
it.
I do think that if I had to make predictions now, I didn't love episode 8. I liked it a lot, but looking back on it, there was some dumb stuff, all that dumb Rose stuff, and Finn,
Yeah.
they kissed. That was random and weird.
Yeah, super
Remember that time that Finn was about to sacrifice himself for the Republic that he believed
And then
in,
that's
and then
stupid.
and then Rose saved him. Like I saved you. You
That
gotta
was
you gotta save
ridiculous.
the people you love. And then he's like, what? And then the laser shoots and destroys the wall.
Yeah.
Where he's like, that's what I was trying to do.
Yeah, I was
could've-
saving the people I
I
love.
could have saved everyone, but you just
Right.
people don't know how death works in this universe, I guess.
It's true. It's
But,
true, yeah. That was
Moving
really
on,
ridiculous.
Official prediction, because we just watched the final trailer, I believe there will, because the Emperor's back. Who cares? That's
Palpatine.
dumb.
There was the laugh thing, like the
Yeah,
original. What was
yeah,
it? The
the
original 8
original teaser.
teaser was like.
Um,
Sounded
and
kind of cool.
it did. Congratulations.
Thanks.
We're talking about serious stuff here, so we
I know,
please
I know.
ratchet down.
No, it's
Uh,
pretty serious.
So it looks like they're going to of course, the wreckage of the second Death Star, probably
Yeah.
on a planet.
On that water planet, which
Might be Endor anyway because they were close to Endor, but maybe not.
Yeah.
We always forget though that these planets. It's not like when you go to Hoth, there's only ice. Like
right. There's
Pla-
a million ice planets.
no, but planets can be like Earth, where it's
Right.
like if Hoth,
Right,
if
right, right.
Endor has a forest, it can also have like one
like
pond.
ice. Yeah.
or
Yeah.
or
Usually,
like-
how it's dealt with in Star Wars is like every planet has like one thing.
Yeah.
Like
And-
Kamino was just water.
yeah. No, I'm also getting mad at. Like
What?
I hope the next Star Wars.
Tell me.
I'm gonna. I hope the next Star Wars like happens where it's like the planet they go to, like Rick and Morty style. Like every plant is a butt. I don't know, or something interesting where it's like, oh my gosh,
Not just the classic Star
another
Wars.
desert planet, but this
Right.
time it's called Maku and not
Right.
Jakku or Tatooine.
Oh yeah, that
Like-
was a little bit ridiculous.
Like why? Why don't you just make it Tatooine at that point?
Right.
I'm so angry. But like,
Yes.
I want the next planet they go
Mix it
to
up a little
just
bit.
have.
Ooh.
Just have leaves in the shape of arms.
Right. Like kind of like in Star Wars Episode 3, I thought they did a good job. The planet Felucia or something like
yeah,
that.
that was the planet where Aayla Secura died.
Yes. It was a really weird planet, and there was all these weird leaves. It was kind of
Plants, and it was, like-
tropical, and it was
yeah.
like different colors.
But
I
they-
was impressed.
But then you saw it for like 6 seconds and they
Right,
left it,
exactly,
you know?
exactly.
And they're always like, oh, we're going to a new CGI place
Right.
where it's just rock.
Go back to Felucia.
Felucia! Bring back
Bring
Felucia!
Felucia back.
Have some guts. Make a stand, Disney. Yeah, I really. What? They need to have cool, interesting plans because they're going to another desert planet.
Right. And another water planet.
Because it would be almost cool where it's like Kylo Ren could be like, oh, so it'd be, it's his mask. So it starts where it begins, or something cool like that.
Right.
But they're not. It's not Jakku, so
Yeah.
what's the point?
Yeah.
Um.
That's true.
Anyway.
Well, I thought it was a cool. Sorry, one thing.
Yeah.
I thought it
go
was
ahead.
cool. I think it was an 8. The red planet, like the
That
dusty,
was sick. That was great.
that was really different.
It was
It
awesome.
was kind of like a Hoth kind of battle scene,
because
like the attack of the whatever the
the
bear
walkers. It
shelter.
was just like Hoth, except it happened at the end. Like
Like a
I like that kind of
deserty-
mix up.
Yeah.
You know, and also of course Ben Solo
Echoes of
killed.
the past.
He killed Snoke
Yeah.
at the end.
Yeah.
I thought, by the way, I feel like they could have made so much cool stuff, like Rey going to the dark side, like for a little bit or something
Yeah.
like that.
like
then,
just diving in a little bit.
or like Ben Swallow gets completely redeemed
Right.
and like he kills Snoke, and then Rey's like, "That was my father, probably," and then kills Ben. I don't know.
Wait, when you saw Episode 7, did you know already? Did you have it spoiled that Solo was gonna die?
I didn't know. I mean, when he walked up on the precipice
Right.
in the middle of a bridge in front of an abyss,
In
I
front
thought
of
he
his
was gonna
angry
die.
son, who was like, "I have
Yeah.
to kill you." I like for a split second thought that his son was gonna. You know, I feel like I have hope for people, even though they're kind of hopeless. Sometimes.
Yeah.
I'm a good guy, you know.
there's not a lot of redemption for Kylo Ren.
No, it's not.
He does some bad stuff.
Yeah, he
Uh,
worships his grandfather's helmet. That's
Yeah,
all
I mean, who
burned inside.
doesn't? I mean,
I have my grandfather's helmet.
same, but he was in you know what, so it's kind of hard to reflect on that properly.
Adolf
Hitler. Have you
Inside
ever seen
joke,
the SNL
sorry.
sketch where it's like a bunch of Nazi soldiers being like, "Wait a second, are we the bad guys?" all of our decorations have skulls on them. But so my prediction is that like Palpatine will be like, "I made you, Rey. I made you life."
Yeah, well, here's the thing. You remember, I don't know if you've done a ton of research. I did a little bit recently on Palpatine and his whole life, how he's like, his force power is like creating life or something.
Mm-hmm.
And like how he learned that from his master, and then he's been like cloning himself.
Have you ever heard the tale of Darth Plagueis?
Yeah, there you go.
Some would seem unnatural.
Hmm. Yeah, but
As you're saying.
I think they're gonna dive into that with Sidious because he's dead, but like he's cloned himself, and this is another Sidious, but same guy but different body
And then
kind of thing.
And then we saw all those Star Destroyers, those OG Star Destroyers
Yeah.
coming up from the ground.
Right.
So it's a zombie army manned by.
Oh, speaking of zombie stuff, did you ever read any of the Republic Commando books? There was one like actual horror Republic Commando
Wasn't
book.
there like a Geonosis zombies or something like that? Or
And it
just
was like-
normal zombies.
It was a Star Destroyer that was just like floating, like kind of. Did you ever play that game Dead Space?
No, I didn't.
Okay, it was pretty scary, but it's like a Dead Space kind of vibe. It's like this like zombie infection that happens
Cool.
on a Star Destroyer. All the people become zombies, and then the Republic Commandos go in, and they're like, "Oh, it's all dark, blah blah blah," and then it's like this crazy zombie thing, and it's like a crazy.
Well, they
time.
sound cool. It's Ark, boy.
They did a cool series like offshoot with the Republic Commandos. They did one game which
Yeah.
was epic,
But
and there was
didn't
tons of
Didn't
gore.
that game take place in like the Clone Wars?
Yeah, it's like they go behind enemy lines in the
Yeah.
Clone Wars, and they're like destroy. Like it's just pretty sick.
They showed up on Clone Wars for an episode for like 6 seconds.
Yeah.
We're like, hey, we're here. And they were gone forever. I love for the way they do that. It's like,
Oh,
oh my
it's so
gosh,
funny.
you're finally bringing
Finally.
back Bosk. Oh, for
Right.
only half a second to kill his
Right,
niece or
yeah.
whatever.
Uh.
But going back to episode 9,
The Plagueis, Sidious, whatever.
The Plagueis. So I think, they have to CGI him too because the guy actor's
Yeah.
dead most likely. So like,
yeah, he was old dude.
the different voice actors too probably. I think because in the Clone Wars they had a voice actor for Palpatine, but one of them died between seasons, so they had a new guy. But anyway,
Oh.
I guess it's implied that eventually, by that one, because that's why I don't watch trailers. Is that one shot where they both slice something together as
Yeah.
best friends,
They're gonna like
I'm-
somehow team up.
and because at one point Finn's like running down the ramparts of like that watery duel
Thing.
as well, and he was like, "Ray!" I'm the guy who always yells "Ray!" And he's probably gonna be like, "But Kylo, look, I have this discount for this car wash. It makes you a good person now." He's like, "Thank you."
I'm a
but-
good guy.
But anyway, I think they'll team up and they'll kill Darth Sidious because, oh my gosh, Darth Sidious was the guy who made Ben Swallow bad in the first place, and that's
Mhm.
why I really they mentioned the Knights of Ren, and they're not gonna bring them up in at least episode 9. I'm gonna be disappointed. But moving on,
Knights of Ren. I don't know if I
'Cause-
remember hearing hints of that.
because remember Luke Skywalker specifically, I think
Oh,
Han Solo said in episode 7, "Oh yeah, there was a apprentice who turned to the dark side and destroyed everything Luke built. He took a few of his disciples and
Oh yeah.
he decided to defect to the First Order or whatever."
Yeah.
But anyway, it's gonna be really cringy when Ben Swallow's like, "Wait, I'm a good guy," because like what's gonna happen? Like Ray's gonna be like,
My grandfather was good too.
or like Ray's gonna be like, "Ben, please, we're best friends, right? I have a British accent slightly," and he's like, "Oh my gosh, you're right." Like,
Yeah.
I can't see because he's a bad guy.
Right.
Like maybe a Darth Vader ending where he's like, "I'm dying."
Yeah.
But like I can't possibly see it not being cringy where it's like, wait a second,
Right.
my grandfather was good and my father was good.
Right.
Maybe wait a second,
I
I should be
should-
good.
I'm good too.
Like, and
Yeah.
that's like I've shown you how it should have
Yeah.
ended by this point where it's like,
I love how it should have
I'm supposed to be a good person.
Here we go. Yeah, I think unless they do some kind of right from the start of the movie internal struggle with him, like, and they're kind of showing you stuff that he's thinking and seeing and like playing through it, I don't think they can really pull off like a well done, comeback.
They
for
tried to
him.
do that because in episode 8, where he might have been able to be turned good at one point,
Yeah.
like he decided not to kill his mom when she was in the command center.
Oh, true.
He was button was on the finger trigger for
Was that
blowing it
before or
up,
after he killed his dad?
That was after he killed his dad. So
Okay.
it's like he's not just like all in for a penny for a pound kind
Right.
of guy apparently.
Right.
But still, Kylo, what you doing, man?
Yeah.
Stop being so thick. Have a keto diet or whatever. You know what I mean? But yeah, I don't know what to expect from this new movie. I'm expecting
excited.
some really annoying exposition
What-
lines. Well, for example, it's gonna be like Poe's gonna walk up on Rey as she's training, gonna be like, "Hey, this is some exposition. You've been with us for about a year now, Rey. How's it been? Oh, it's been great. Yeah, it's like that time we had ice cream over a fire together because we're best friends and we're also lovers." And they kiss. And we're like, "What?" But there's gonna be stuff like that because apparently I'm so upset about this. It takes place over a year after Star Wars Episode 8.
Oh, so
Which
they
is-
did do a
Which
lag
isn't
in
enough
this one.
time though, because like I was hoping this would be like the resistance been built up again, and they're
Something.
this is the last push to kill the First Order. But it's like, oh, they're still at war. It's only been a year.
Yeah,
Anyway,
yeah.
what do you think about all this mess?
Going,
It's a deep hole to dig yourself out of, JJ. You know what I mean?
It's true. It's really true. I mean, the trailer was epic. It looked pretty cool. There was a lot of cool scenes, crazy, awesome filming and stuff like that. But I agree. I'm hopeful and expectant, but I don't know what to expect. You know, it's kind of like I think I'm gonna be a little disappointed, but I'm going in with like a positive mind.
Because of all the possibilities Star Wars has of all the extended EU stuff, like clones exist in this world,
Right.
And they have never been brought up except when
Right.
Kylo Ren said, "Hey, maybe we should use clones." And,
Yeah, exactly.
And then Adolf Hitler was like, "I don't even like clones. I have red hair though, so I'm not Adolf Hitler." And I scream stuff. But like, if it's revealed that like Rey and Ben team up and they go to like the Palpatine's old throne room, and he's like, "Oh my gosh, behind this panel there's all these tubes that have baby Palpatines, they've all been cloned."
Right.
Like, that's gonna be lame, right?
Yeah,
Where it's like
yeah.
it turns and like he's like, "You did not know I have been cloned this whole time, and I've been using the Force to corrupt you, Ben Solo." Because Snoke was nobody. Who cares?
Right.
I thought he was Darth Plagueis, but it doesn't matter now with his awesome Trump Tower robe he wore.
Yeah.
But nothing matters. What's the
Yeah,
point?
it's
What's the
all-
point?
It's pointless, and we're signing out. No, I'm just kidding. Here's the thing.
Oh boy.
No, he's not the thing.
See,
What do you? Go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
What are your thoughts on like the title? Why Rise of Skywalker
First of
or
all,
whatever?
terrible name. Just
Yes.
say Star Wars. Last Jedi was great. I like Force Awakens too. Make it 2 words, like Rise of Skywalker.
Skywalker has risen. No.
These titles, he's risen again. And the episode 10's he's risen indeed. But
and then the
ri-
11th,
so
he
I-
has risen.
I think that maybe I've heard some good, decent theories. Stop opening my Zippo.
Sorry.
That like maybe after she decapitates Ben Swallow, Rey will start her own Jedi Order, and they'll be known as Skywalkers. Maybe because the whole thing about Skywalkers as well. Rise of Skywalker. Luke's not coming back, maybe unless it's a ghost, or if he just uses lightning to kill Palpatine.
Right.
which
Or
would
if she
start-
discovers Luke actually had a kid.
and it's her, or I mean, what kid? Like,
I don't
like
know.
anyone? Oh, my gosh, it's Finn. Finn,
Right.
you're Luke.
Somebody just randomly comes in. It's like, whoa, you're a Skywalker? Yeah, I've been hanging out, dude, waiting.
And then the ghost is like, "You are the father," and he holds a pregnancy test, and like it's a picture of Finn and Rose and everybody. And apparently, he had like some crazy times back in those
It's
times.
some long-haired hippie kid who's like, yeah, my dad, he was ashamed of me, so I hid out on this planet.
Oh boy,
I've been
but
training for this moment.
yeah.
I-
What were we talking about?
Here's a thought that I just had, and I think it could be pretty brilliant. There's the idea that Palpatine had some kind of weird thing because he could create life with the Force. That
Mhm.
Anakin was like partly created because he's like did
I mean,
it
He's his father technically,
Right,
because he
right.
made that
exactly
like Shmi. Like there was no father.
right
In
exactly.
a
He
comic,
came from the Force.
in a
you know?
comic. It was described too. It was actually what happened and stuff like
Oh,
that.
really?
He
I don't think I read
concepted.
that.
He
Yeah.
He concepted
with the Force.
He is that-
Conceived.
Conceived. That's better. Inside of her womb or whatever, with
Right.
the dark side of the Force, was kind of weird.
Right. So I'm thinking maybe like
Oh.
in accordance with Rise of Skywalker, maybe that's what's her name.
Shmi's mom.
No.
No, who? Ray's
Ray.
Maybe-
Maybe Ray was conceived the same way, and
by
like
Palpatine.
right, and
actually
that's
not
why
bad.
Palpatine's coming back, and there's this whole Rise of Skywalker. So it's like she
But
is
she
a
would-
Skywalker.
But she wouldn't be a Skywalker. She'd be a Palpatine.
right, exactly. But maybe they're like going
It's
with
not
the
called-
Skywalker theme because that's how Anakin
yeah,
was born.
and she's like, "We are all Skywalkers."
and at the very end, they're like hold hands,
Well,
like we are Skywalker.
It's like a cult. We are Skywalker.
Yeah. And they like zoom out, and it's like in the outline of like Luke's face or something.
Yeah. In the outline of Luke's face, like dabbing. I'm hoping that Luke comes
Jesus
back.
Christ, is Jason Bourne.
Jesus Christ, Jason Bourne. I hope that Luke comes back as a Force Ghost and just summons lightning and kills Palpatine, because that's what he can do, because Force Ghost can summon lightning. Anyway, that's the gist of it. We can theorize a bunch of stuff, but I think Rey, I like the idea because there are powerful Force users that came about because they just random parents, right? Like,
Right.
And of course,
It's like a random Force thing.
and it's not like Luke Skywalker is the chosen one. His father was a chosen one because he's the one who threw Palpatine into a pit. So,
Right.
And there's a prophecy of the chosen one, but it's kind of the prophecy of there's a lot of
like a
prophecies.
chosen lineage.
Well, there's prophecies where it's like the chosen one will defeat darkness. It's a very vague prophecy.
right.
So it's like it's not like Rey, only the Skywalker lineage is the chosen one.
Right.
The chosen one is like, it's like the Azor Ahai in Game of Thrones. It's like, it's convenient that he also happens to be really good in the Force, and he just
Right.
has to defeat evil. It's like the same thing of like being a Christian and being like, we have to not let Satan win. In like Next Generation, we're chosen by God to not let Satan
Right.
win. Next Generation, who's random people, we've been chosen by God to not let Satan win. That kind of
Right.
thing. But I don't know what Rise of Skywalker means. But if Rey is like Ben Kenobi's granddaughter, it's gonna be lame, right? Like what?
Yeah.
Like
yeah. If there's some kind of weird connection there, yeah, I think it's gonna be kind of lame.
so. Yeah, sure. I hope she's not a Skywalker because people can just be random and be good with
Right.
the Force.
I hope it's like my theory with
Palpatine's-
Palpatine, and,
yeah.
and they just say it's a Skywalker thing because that's how Anakin was conceived. So it's kind of like a
Yeah, that's
echo
fair.
kind of thing.
Do you think Palpatine's back just because of Force magic, or because he did deal with some Sith alchemy?
Yeah, he was
So-
pretty crazy. He was one of the most powerful Sith, like supposedly.
I think that Palpatine, Sidious was alive this whole time, making up as I go.
Because he was thrown down a freaking pit, right?
Yeah,
And
but
blew
I
up inside of
I
him.
fell into the pit. We all fall into the pit. But I think Darth Sidious is just back because. Okay, screw it. He's a clone. Oh, what do you think? What do you think? Rey's dark vision about her, if a sweet double blade red lightsaber was about, just a vision, right?
Yeah.
It's not like, and I also impregnated another woman, and this is Faye.
It's you, your twin.
Yeah, but
that would be crazy.
how does she look exactly like her then?
Twin.
But that's not how twins. These
There is
separate
identical
twins.
twins.
What? So what? Oh, so Rey's also a twin who got separated at birth from her twin? No, we're not doing that again. I think it's just a stupid Darth Vader vision of what
Right.
would happen if she did go with Kylo
Right,
Ren, Ben
right.
Swallow, or whatever.
Yeah, I think you're probably right with that. Just like a don't turn to the dark side.
But
this
that
is what can
lightsaber she
happen.
has looks pretty swick because
Very
it's like a
sick.
switchblade.
I hope that happens.
But it looks dumb because I've seen like a GIF where someone's like has her open it up, and it's like a Swiss Army knife. So it's like a corkscrew and like scissors, and like it's like but I do like how even when your bad side has a double blade lightsaber, when you should have a double blade lightsaber, Rey, come on, girl.
Maybe she does make a double bladed lightsaber.
Or like
and
she
it's
has an
like-
attachment to attach Luke's
Something
original
like
lightsaber.
that, yeah.
That's why I
I'm
wanted.
hoping they do that. I hope that she makes some kind of lightsaber or does something
That's
like
what
that.
you have to do as a Jedi. You have to make your own lightsaber. And instead, she chose like the lazy option of just being like, yeah, I'll just use this old one.
Exactly. Wait, they're going to some crazy like deserted planet, and they're going to the like where this giant ruin whatever ship is in the water. What if this is like some crystal journey that she's going on? I don't know. There wasn't really any hints of that, but you never know. I hope it is.
I'm going on an adventure. I'm slightly British.
I'm going to find my crystal.
There's some cool imagery. I bet there is going to be some crazy spiritual thing at the end, though, where it's like,
Mhm.
you must go into the Force itself, Rey, and then defeat me, or something
Right.
like that.
Because
where,
there
like-
was the trials, like the trials always talked about. You have to go through the trials, and there was some hints of it in some of the.
Oh, you mean like when
offshoots.
Yoda said that kind of stuff?
Yeah.
Well, that was when like he went to the ghost and hallucinated his dad being in his own mask or whatever. Remember that?
Exactly. That's like the Jedi trials they're supposed to go through because it's like they face these
Because
things.
another great thing, like in Star Wars Rebels, there was a great thing where they go in the
Yeah.
world between worlds where they find Ahsoka and they find all these places in time. It's a long story, but
Oh,
anyway,
I don't remember.
basically create time travel in Star Wars universe. So,
that.
but
Oh,
like,
no, that's bad.
well, it got destroyed.
Okay,
Long
good.
story short, who cares? But anyway, like. For something like the Force, where like you can literally do anything for plot reasons, like why not have a sweet astral plane where, oh my gosh, CGI Hayden Christensen is helping Rey out or something like that? I don't know.
Like an alternate universe.
Because this is magic, right? So like literally anything should
Yeah.
be able to happen.
Right, and anything does happen, they just keep changing rules and putting different things in there. Because like,
No,
if you-
directors keep changing rules.
because if you like go back through, you can find like the Force does so many crazy things.
We should time it. I want to see how long the exposition when Palpatine's like, oh, but you didn't know that when I supplanted my
Yeah.
seed into your mother who abandoned you, that I also was contorting Ben Swallow's thoughts into making him evil when he was in Luke's Jedi Temple. But the reason I'm back is also because I'm actually a clone due to my Sith alchemy and Camino technology.
So here's my dead body, and here's me.
yeah, like he has a whiteboard. He's connecting dots together. He's like has a PowerPoint
Hold on
presentation.
for a second.
He's,
Pulls down the
he's using a
thing.
lightsaber to point at the screen. But I have some hope because it's J.J. Abrams, but I've never seen him complete anything well. He always starts things well and then leaves. But anyway, that's it about it. We went over our normal time as it always goes for my normal podcast.
True.
But I'm Drew Johnson. We didn't even say our names.
Oh, I'm Christian Walpole.
Nice, good job. We're such good podcasters.
Maybe we can do like a follow up after the.
Yeah,
movie.
I'll be hyped to do that. Where we can be like, oh my gosh, I was right. But those are our crazy predictions. I hope it ends well. But honestly, I don't have a lot of faith. But I think there'll be a crazy crowd. I say that now, but then a month and a half from now, I'll be like, can you believe when Chewbacca threw Ghost Yoda into Palpatine? Like there'll be some crazy generic crowd pleasing moment where it's be like, oh my gosh, that's crazy, and I'll love Star Wars again.
Yeah.
Anything
Yeah.
else? Oh, why do you think C-3PO has red eyes? He's a devil. All right, moving on.
Yeah, that he's gonna die. That's a sad thing.
No.
He's
the guy
like,
we
I'm
have
just taking one last look at my friends before
all of
they're
his friends are dead.
Yeah, that's true. His friends have all died. Anakin, he's literally seen. That's one thing I love about Star Wars though, is C-3PO and R2 every single movie.
They're immortal.
Yeah, and they're in every movie. I
They're
love
not
it.
in Rogue One.
And R2-D2's got to be one of my favorite. I'm gonna say R2-D2's my favorite character.
Wow.
I said it.
He was. They weren't in a solo movie though. They were in Solo.
Oh, are you sure?
Nope. Yes. I'm sure.
Not
All right,
sure at
that
all.
should wrap it up. I'm Drew Johnson.
Wait, there's more to talk about.
Can
Can I just mention one
we're
more
at
thing?
an hour and 5 minutes
Okay,
here.
one more thing. This
All
is
right,
the
one more
last
thing.
thing.
Last thing.
Okay.
One day.
Funny thing about Star Wars Episode 7, I forgot to mention this.
Ooh.
You know how there was that whole like blind dude who was like a karate guy?
Oh, in Rogue One.
Is that Rogue One?
Yeah.
Oh, dang it.
He's like,
Yeah.
I'm one of the Force, and the Force is with me.
So that actually has to do with some outside politics, movie politics. China only allows a certain amount of American movies into their country each year. And so every big movie producer is trying to like vie for that spot and get into it. So that actor, that Chinese guy, he's like a huge dude in China. Like he's a massive actor. So Star Wars like wanted him, and they wanted to
Mhm.
put a little like action in it, so that it could get into the Chinese market and make tons
Well, that
more money.
happens in things like Triple X Returns Xander Cage. They'll just have like, this is my crew, and there's like a random like Indian rapper or something like that
Exactly.
who's all he can do is shoot a gun.
Exactly.
That happens all the time apparently.
But I mean, it's one of those things you gotta pay attention to because it's actually like marketing.
Like what in this new movie they'll be like, hey guys, this is Jumbly. He's from India. I mean, he's from the Quandra section. He's a rapper. I mean,
He's from the outside world.
he's from the outer rim of India. I don't know. But
Okay, sorry.
I do hope there also is some really annoying cringe like Rose and Finn stuff where Rose is like, I love you, Finn, please marry me. He's like,
Yeah.
God, I barely know this woman. Oh boy.
I'm excited.
That
I
should be
think
the
it'll
gist of it. Man, Poe Dameron's so hot. Moving on, I believe that's it.
Yeah, that was good.
Poe Dameron, he's hot.
Dameron!
All right, cool. I think that's it. I'm Drew Johnson,
I'm Christian Walpole.
and goodbye. Can't wait to be so excited. I'm like, I regret everything I ever said. I love Star Wars again.
Dro.